Empire. Free-to-play gaming continues to move the needle.
You know, they have three ways of making money. They sell tickets, they sell merchandise, and they sell sponsorships. The sponsorships become much more valuable if they can actually demonstrate that there's a connection between the fan, a direct connection between the fan and the sponsor.
That's Brad Vettese, CEO of Tally Technology, where teams and leagues continue to look for ways to convert casual fans into highly engaged customers. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. Free-to-play gaming has been used for years by teams to keep engagement, and with gambling options legalized, teams are being proactive about various ways that games can lead to other opportunities, and that's where Tally Technology comes in. Our guest this week is Bradley Vettese. He's the CEO of Tally Technology, which was founded 4 years ago as a free-to-play prediction game for brands, professional sports teams, leagues, and media platforms that are seeking a turnkey fan engagement platform. So we're going to get into modern fan engagement. Hi, Brad. How are you?
I'm doing great, Bram. Thanks for having me.
You want to tell the story of Tally? How did you guys get here?
Well, it started with Russell Wilson, the Super Bowl quarterback now of the Broncos. About 4 years ago, he had this vision where he said, wouldn't it be interesting if you could play a game on your phone that was as fun as every Super Bowl party you go to, where people are picking who's going to win it, who's going to be leading at halftime, who's going to win the game, who's going to score first. And that's how Tally became Tally. There was a vision. He, living in Seattle, he was able to interact with some really interesting developers and people who could, create the platform. And Tally was born out of that.
So how did you meet Russell Wilson?
Well, so Russell is a friend of a friend. And we, about 2.5 years ago, they've been running the platform for almost 18 months or so. And Nike came along and they said, we'd be interested in buying a part of the company. So they sold the company to Nike. But the part that was associated with prediction games didn't fit with where Nike was going in terms of their philosophy. So they said, if you want to spin that out, you can spin out the part of the company that deals with prediction games.
Okay.
And then we ended up meeting those guys. We took over the company, and we've been running it ever since.
And Brad, what's your background?
So I'm a serial entrepreneur mixed in with a marketing, advertising kind of guy. Yep. Originally from Canada, worked for Molson Breweries, which was a really great foundation for sports and marketing. Spent a great number of years with them, and then in ad agencies and marketing companies that they were a client of ours. And so we activated their sports properties, their hockey, their basketball, et cetera, moved down to the U.S., did a variety of different companies, worked with Razorfish. I spent some time in Silicon Valley in mobile startups, worked for a company in Omnicom called The Marketing Arm, which is a big sports marketing agency. All of my background is really around sports and marketing.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some of the engagement methods that you guys use. These are, if I understand this right, you're working directly with the teams to reach out to their fans, correct? To try to get them to stay engaged with the brand. So
that's correct.
Take me through a little bit what you're talking about. What are the engagement methods? How do they get to them? And what are the games like?
The way we work with our team partners, and I'll use an example with the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers partner with us, and we create different types of digital programs that allow their fans to test their football knowledge around the Packers. And so we have a trivia game platform, and we have a prediction game platform that we use. Basically, the Green Bay Packers would promote what it's called Predict the Packers. They would promote that through all of their different channels, their social channels, their web environment, et cetera, through email. People would click on a link, and they would come into our game, and for the season, people would play the Packers game. We start the game usually on a Wednesday or Thursday of the week. People have a variety of questions that they're sent ahead of the game being started. And then during the game, we provide more questions, and we stimulate them by sending them an SMS and say there are new questions available. So then the fan would play the additional answer, more of the questions. At the end of the game, there's a leaderboard that shows where you have landed, and at the end of it, if you're a winner, you win a prize that's provided by the team. In some cases, we have cash prizes. In some cases, it's tickets and merchandise and experiences.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about modern engagement then. With this method and with these methods, are the teams trying to retain the attention of the fans they have? Are they trying to grow? And if they're trying to grow, how are they using this to grow their fan bases?
I think one of the things that we've found is that 75% of our players are casual fans and 25% are avid fans, as defined by themselves, like self-defined. And so through that method, we are seeing that we're growing their fan base in terms of we have the ability for a casual fan to have an engagement with the team on an ongoing basis without having to be a dyed-in-the-wool, know every fact about what's going on. So I think we grow the fan base in that regard. And then I think what we do is we also when those casual fans are engaged, they are also engaged in other parts of the team's environment. So they're looking at their web pages. They're understanding more about the different types of information that the team can put out. They're watching the injury reports and things like that. So there is a bit of a gradual growing of the casual fan into a fan that's a little more connected to the team.
Okay. And this is valuable to, I assume, the third-party sponsors who want to interact with not just the fans, but with the brand themselves.
Yeah, correct. And so, they have three ways of making money. They sell tickets, they sell merchandise, and they sell sponsorships. The sponsorships become much more valuable if they can actually demonstrate that there's a connection between the fan, a direct connection between the fan and the sponsor. So, we have another engagement with the Buffalo Bills, and they have a casino sponsor. And so the Bills are excited when more people play their game, and those people, we collect their mobile number and their email address. They give that data to the casino partner. The casino partner encourages those people to come to the casino and engage in different types of gambling products. And they can see a direct relationship between our game and the people that are showing up in their casino.
Okay. So that is the A to B part of it. Clearly, laws are changing in this country, jurisdiction by jurisdiction. Do you foresee a time where that transition is going directly from the team through a direct partnership to play mobile gambling?
I think if taking a little bit of a step back, some of our biggest successes are when the actual brands are the client or the partner. We have a relationship with AB InBev in Brazil, where they have a sponsorship with the Serie A soccer teams, and they look at this and they say if we can design a program where we can bring people into our environment through our sports sponsorship, we can now get a much better understanding of how our sports sponsorships are actually helping us sell more beer. And the case of them was really interesting. They have a e-commerce beer delivery platform in Brazil called Zed, and they basically had people play the game, provided them an offer to receive beer delivery to their home within 30 minutes, and their first offer, the first purchase was 30% off. And you can imagine what happened in that regard. You've got people who are sports fans who like to drink beer, who get an offer to have it delivered to their house with a pretty decent discount. We got a 20% redemption on that. And so the prediction game itself is a means to an end for all of these groups.
This episode is brought to you by Chalk and Dog, which brings together the vast experience and expertise of two of the brightest agencies in media, sports, wagering, and gaming. With deep roots in the UK and the US, the agency offers expert guidance in everything from market entry to market expansion for startups as well as established global brands, powered by best-in-class communication and creative experts. Chalk and Dog has vast international experience and delivers results-oriented, tailor-made solutions for B2B and B2C organizations. Could you take me through kind of the growth of that? I'm sure when you first went to teams, and a lot of people go to teams and say, I have these great games for you to engage with your fans, that maybe they didn't see the connecting of the dots that you are describing here. Did it take a while for the teams to realize that free-to-play gaming could end up in these kind of outcomes?
I think the time frame and the process is really kind of driven by the goal setting and then the structuring of how the data gets moved from a player being involved in the game to how that data is used in a way to benefit the team or the brand, and how much of a direct line we can actually provide there. In some cases, teams are quite happy with just providing a top of the funnel awareness opportunity for a brand, but other partners want to move that right down to providing offers and testing A, B, C, D offers against a particular segment. And within our platform, we can do all kinds of interesting data segmentation. We have a poll question that we ask at least twice, maybe 4 times during a game. And that poll question can be a question about the fan themselves, some demographic information. It can be about the sponsor. Have you tried Bud Light Lime? Yes, it was great. No, not yet, that type of thing. Or it can be for the team. Do you have seasons tickets? Do you buy merchandise, etc.? We've done somewhere in the vicinity of 2.5 million questions we've asked over the last little bit. So we have a tremendous amount of information about the fan, and we can segment that and pivot around that so that sponsors and teams can use that data in very different ways.
That was clearly what I wanted to ask you next. What have you learned about modern fans, and is there a broad brush to describe modern fans, or are they all very different dependent on league, team, etc.?
I think fans are really interesting. I mean, imagine painting your face with with your colors of your team. I mean, that's an amazing thing. And I was watching the Monday night game last night, and there was a not a Buffalo fan. It was a fan who gets up at 4:00 in the morning to put all of his gear on for the game. I think fans are fans, and I think what they do is they find ways to interact with the team that are avenues that are that make sense to them. And so, from a digital point of view, and the modern fan, we index about 2 times the younger fan, 18 to 24.
Yeah.
So we have twice as many people that are a younger fan playing our game than normal. And I also think that there's just so many places for fans to interact and engage. I think the key thing for anybody in our business is really, how do you keep the game fresh and interesting so that they always come back? And we have a very high retention level because the way we structure and write our games, it's not like you come in and touch one of 2 helmets or pick between 2 choices. We write the questions in longhand, and it turns into kind of a story that you can put through the 13 or 16 questions that you ask during a game.
I am curious if you guys have thought about where all this fits into modern engagement, which is in the metaverse. How do you kind of look at that moving forward with teams, brands, and engagement?
So we're in daily conversations around Web3 environments and things like that. And I think that the way that we look at it is we split it into 2 things. Blockchain and fan tokens and tokenization is one side of that, and then the Web3 environments is a separate thing. I think we're more focused right now on finding different ways for value to be created using the Web3 environments that are blockchain and fan tokens. That's kind of our focus right now, and we see that as an inevitable situation, even though there's been such a weird situation around crypto and the crypto winter and lots of failing. Blockchain is here to stay, and fan tokens and fan tokenization will be the way of the future going, as we go forward.
Okay. And through all of this, when you're working with all these teams, this may also be team to team, league to league, but what do people like? What are fans drawn to of the offerings that you give them?
I think what people like is they have a real interest in, over time, being able to climb that leaderboard, being seen as part of a group of people that have a strong knowledge base around the team and the game. But that's one aspect of it. But what we found, and something that we're differentiating ourselves on right now, is people like to play in groups. And so you can play individually to win a prize. But if there's an opportunity for you and myself and 4 other people to play together and collaborate, that seems to be a place where people are gravitating, and they will play every time. They'll play. In fact, what we found was they play 4 times as much if they're in a group than if they're not in a, and because you don't want to let the side down. You want to make sure you're in there playing and contributing, and you don't want to make it so that your side doesn't win. We have another partner, CONCACAF, which is in the news right now, of course, with the World Cup and everything. But we're working with them and their 41 country teams, and the plan for that is for us to create a game where you can play for yourself and play for your country, and your points will then go to a situation where you can allow your team to win. Even if it doesn't win on the pitch, it can win off the pitch by having more people play and have more points in that, for your team.
Brad Vettese is the CEO of Tally Technology. Thank you so much for joining us. Here is a last-second Christmas giveaway that you will enjoy if you are into playing PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. Good folks at Sony and PlayStation 5 are giving us the opportunity to give away multiple codes to multiple titles. MLB The Show 22, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, The Last of Us Part 1, Horizon Forbidden West, and Gran Turismo 7. All we need you to do is to retweet the episode on Twitter for us, put a reply of which games you're into, DM us at Futuresport, FUTRSPRT, and if we choose you, we will send you a free code for one of those 5 titles. Tell us which one you have the most interest in. Good luck and Merry Christmas. On the next Future Sport podcast, a European model of horse race syndicate ownership is taking shape now in the United States.
We're providing that service through our platform that we have, Stride, so everyone gets that engaged and that consumer user experience that you can deliver within the horse racing space because it's so much fun.
That's Johnny Murphy, co-founder of Stride and former international rugby player who is looking to bring a new model of success to horse race ownership. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.